Hello and welcome back to your third lesson on functions and relations. In today's lesson, we are going to be looking at the product of two functions. Yesterday's lesson, we looked at the sum and difference. Now we're looking at the product, so that involves multiplication. So I'm just going to start off this investigation here, and then I'm going to expect you to finish it off, okay? So here we go. We want the product, and if you remember last time, this was 2x minus 1. Or 2x plus 1. This one here was x subtract 3. Okay? Now, let's figure out what this here is. If we multiply them, so negative 7 multiplied by negative 7 is 49. Negative 5 times negative 6 is 30. 15, 4, negative 3, negative 6, negative 5, 0, and 9. Well, what is this? If I look at this, can we make an equation based off this multiplication? So I look at my first difference, I have 19. Here, I'm going to have 15. Here, I'm going to have 11. Here, I have how much? 7. I'm going down every time, negative, negative, negative. Here, I have a difference of what? 3. Here, this is negative 3. Here, I'm going up by what? I went by 3, now I'm going up by 1. So I look at the difference of this, I'm going to get 4, 4, 4, 4, 4. So every time we have a second difference of 4. As soon as we're looking at a second difference is the same, that's a quadratic. Or what we could also do is look at this way. If I was to graph this, and I look at, let's see, negative 5, negative 5, oh, we don't have 4, we don't have, that's too big, 49, so which one's on the graph? 15. 15's at negative 2, so we go to negative 2, and we're at 15. Next, let's take a look here, we have negative 1, will give us 4. So, negative 1 gives us 4. Then we have 0, at 0 we have 3, negative 3, okay, so at 0, going to have negative 3. Okay? Then at 1, we have negative 6. So 1, negative 6. And then we have at 2, we're going to have negative 5. So at 2, we're at negative 5. I believe, yep. And then at 3, we're at 0. So 3 now. 1, 2, 3, we're at 0. So my graph is going to look something like this, okay? So now we know it's a quadratic. Now I would like you, and I challenge you, to start finishing off this part here, the second half of this by yourself. So pause it, see if you can do it. If you can't, watch the second half of the video that I'm going to do here, starting on the next page, and then look at that, and then maybe come back, see if you can solve this by yourself and find the relations that are very important. Okay? So, here we go. Class example number 1. It says, consider this function with f of x, which is 3 root x minus 2, and g of x, which is square root of x, subtract 5. Write an expression in simplest form for each of the following functions. Okay? So we want in simplest form. So the first ones are stuff we've done before. We're adding and subtracting. Subtracting, so we want to subtract. So that's going to be f of x, so 3 root x, subtract 2. And we want to take away g of x, which is root x, subtract 5. Now I look at that, that's 3x, subtract a root x. Well, that gives me only 2 root x's. And then negative 2, subtract negative 5. Well, that's going to give me plus 3. Simplified, there we go. Now, it wants us to multiply them together. Okay, so let's multiply these two together. So I'm going to have 3 root x, subtract 2, multiplied by root x, subtract 5. Now, in order to do this, I'm going to have to do my old trusty distributive property. So we have 3 root x multiplied by root x gives me 3x. Okay? Then 3 root x multiplied by negative 5 will give me negative 15. Okay? Then we have this and that, which will give me negative 2 root x, so that gives me negative 17 root x. Then negative 2 times negative 5 is the same as plus 10. And that's it. Okay? So both are simplified. Now, it wants us to evaluate. So let's evaluate. F minus g is equal to 16. All right, let's take a look here. So I have this is equal to 16. So I want 2 root of 16. We're putting that in for x. So every time there's an x, we're going to put 16. And then we have plus 3. So that's 2 times 4 plus 3, which gives me 8 plus 3, which is equal to 11. Okay? Let's take a look at this one. We want 49. So it's 3 multiplied by 49 minus 17 multiplied by the square root of 49 plus 10. Okay? So this here is going to be 147 minus, now 17 multiplied by 7, and we have to plus 10. So what is 17 multiplied by 7? 70 and 49 is 119. So 119, I believe, plus 157, or 119. And then we have this 157, and we subtract it. That's going to give me a total of 38 is my answer. Okay? And that's everything. Hopefully you understand that. Good luck, as we'll look at the rest tomorrow.